Hello, everyone. I know. Well, Martin just left to get on the train. And today I thought I would talk about sauces. In a way, I'm a weirdo. Oh, there's like gooseberry sauce with mackerel. Never made that one. I was thinking about my dear friend Evelyn Lieber. You know, in that house that she used to live in. I used to mow the lawn over there. And she had that wisteria growing, that stuff. It's weird to have wisteria. And she had all those kids. I liked them. I liked Abby too. We went to St. Helena's a couple of times for their fair that they had. Their they had a little carnival. I sometimes wonder what they're doing now. What Evelyn and Evie, we call her Evie, what they're doing. I would ask Sean. Oh, there's this one word in Spanish. It's really old. you know. Uh, I think sometimes the past is trying to correct itself, and you know me, I just on purpose. Honesty goes a long way. You know, I suppose hermanos and hermanas are gonna have to not but like something different. you know, Different in that way that I mean it. I know a lot of you may not know how I mean the word different. you know, I saw them picking up the park again the other day. I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice if we had some people, some others cleaning up the neighborhood? I would get out there and join them. You know, that's what Stephen would do. He'd be like, let's think about ways to get the ladies and gentlemen to dream that dream we've all dreamed of. You know, you know that World Series of love, love all. It's like that old tennis match. Love, love. you know, oh, it's so weird. Um. Anyways, I will have to say I gave Martin a hug, and I was like, go back to Vale and be successful. Take care of Martin. It'll just fall in your lap. This is something I'm gonna make. That looks yummy. That one too. Oh, one of my favorites. I could make that easily. I wouldn't use you know, I would do it by hand because it's meditation. Besides, I made that stuff in the crock pot, and guess what happened? I left it on low because I thought Sean would come home and have some. He didn't unplug it or turn it off, and it was ruined in the morning. I know when that's happened in the past. Mm. I made that before. Those potatoes. I like making those potatoes with like special blends of ingredients. I used to make really hot potatoes and then put yogurt on them. Greek yogurt or just any kind of yogurt. Ming. I don't know what to make of some of these recipes. It seems like the ingredients are all the same. Oh, I was. Oh, I promised I wouldn't talk about that anymore. Well, it's now. It's not done. Oh, I'm not going to talk about it though. Find your own secrets. Not Steven's secrets, because those are, you know, you know, they're up in here. In here. No. Martin is so cute. He has got a sense of humor almost like mine. I don't know if it goes to the level that mine does, but I get his quirky references. Don't worry if you don't understand all the words that I'm saying, or if you don't understand the context of which I'm speaking them in. Ooh, yeah, nice. I made that before. I know, isn't it weird to look at a cookbook and then not tell you what I'm looking at? The devil made me say that. You know, he sits over here sometimes, and then over here it's like the angels. And then probably right here is that little guy. Something about who knows. Don't answer that. Ooh. Yeah. I would make that from scratch too. That was so yummy. And don't worry if it turns brown. It used to be that way in the old ways, you know? It's so good, but you need a lot of sugar in it. And some cinnamon. And nutmeg. There, that's all I'll say about it. And one day I will make my famous baked spaghetti because it's like the best. Who ever heard of baked spaghetti? You know, of course, I made it all the time. I made it for people who didn't like me or didn't like Steven, you know? Sean told me, well, you're going to have to just be nicer to me. And I was like, when is Sean ever going to be nice to Steven? When does me get to do something for Steven? For you, Steven. This Steven. I told him, and he said, Steven, your rules apply everywhere. I have that in writing. I'm going to reiterate that as much as possible. Not that I would take advantage of that. Steven knows what would happen then. See? Yeah, I bet the nun would like that. That would not be pleasant. I would leave if that happened. I'd be like, no. No. Ooh, that looks good. A food processor. I've used them in the past, but you can do it just as well by hand. It just takes a little longer. Ooh, that stuff. Tzatziki was. I used to spice it up a little bit more with extra garlic. You know, they said, well, you put too much garlic and stuff. And I think, don't eat it then. I'm not going to cook for you if you don't. If you're going to complain about it. Ooh. That's weird that they have those in here. But I suppose it is a sauce. I made that before, without the oranges. I used to make a lot of that. I don't know why. I just, you know, yum. Well, like I said before, Stephen is going to help other people learn to communicate with you and me. And I said that it's going to be difficult. It's difficult to get to know Stephen in the beginning. It always is. Even for Stephen, I'm like, not like, you know, I was talking about all those, you know, well, it used to be back here. I, I know, and I told him, you know, I think some people want me to like say all these secrets about what happened in the past because they don't know. But I have a feeling that others dug through my stuff, you know. It's okay though, you know. It is. It always makes me tingle. I'm gonna try this again and see what it looks like. Ooh, look at it. It's like, sometimes I'm like, where am I? And like, what am I looking at? And it's like, uh, at one time I wrote about fractured pieces of myself being broken. And I kind of looked at who, you know, Stephen might have cut down, you know, from that rope. I think they had tried to trick him in something. Well, then I think I turned the tables. Something happened. I would still try to help people. Is that weird? I have no reason to. They say that I don't have to do really anything. But I would still do my part to help. So bizarre. Like I helped that woman, that lady yesterday. You know, that wasn't Tara. And I know Sean's like, you always have to mention her name. But I know it wasn't her. I told Martin about it. You know. And maybe it is time for Stephen to just sit back and watch things. I promised Savea and Mia, though, that I would continue to talk to them pretty much for an eternity until they find their way back to me. Well, they're in my heart. I mean, until they find a way to heal for themselves. I think a lot of that has to do with what's going on. You know, I hear those door slammers and I'm like, oh, Mia, you little one. And then I see Savea in other people, and I'm like, Savea, honey, just feel, you know. Wonder what it would be like if Savea and Mia felt what it was like to be their father. I know it would be like conflict. I mean, not external conflict. And maybe they would find some peace, you know? I know that would have driven a wedge between the two of them. You know, that's what happens when you don't feel. You keep all that stuff bottled up inside, and that's what I always told people, and I learned that at an early age. At an early age. And I was never afraid of talking to people. I told the judge that yesterday at court. I said, you took away all of my objective people I could talk to because you were stealing our conversations. Sean's probably right. I'm trying to help her now. Who does that? You know, when I don't have to. I wouldn't want any others to go through the same thing that they put Stephen through. Maybe that's why I'm doing it. And don't worry if you don't understand, like I said, everything that I'm saying. I'm sure that, you know, I speak a different language than you do. Oh, I have one more. One more. I don't know if anybody else heard that, but oh, I used to always hear that. I heard that when I was a little kid. It was always really weird when I was a little boy. I would be like, you know, who knows what it was? I never, you know, it would just be every once in a while where I'd be like, hello, you know. Bizarre. I don't know if any of you ever remember that Super Friends, Bizarro, those guys, right? I like the Wonder Twin powers, or you know, where they'd go, shh, activate, and one would turn into like an icicle or a wave, and the other one would turn into like an animal. Some of my favorites. And the Hall of Justice. I'm the Thundercats. I don't know if you guys remember those. I love them. There's so many other stuff. Oh, we were talking about sauces and salsas. Yeah. I still have that happiness. I moved it from one window. Well, there's three windows, and I moved it into the middle window. I had to pound a nail into to get it to stay there. Oh, hold on. Let me do something else. Okay, so this is gonna be weird. How does this look? Like, how does it look? Isn't that weird? Like, thinking about looking back on yourself? Or looking back on, like, outside and then the inside? Oh, I better not show you everything on there. Oh! No, I suppose. You can't read it anyways. Strange. I suppose it just goes on forever in there. Reflections of reflections of reflections. Oops. Somebody has been digging in my writing. I'm not going to blame anyone. In many ways, what really would it do? No. I would get sucked into that. I know. My family, somebody in my family, well, Anita and Sandy were like, we want you to learn language there. And I was like, you know what? I don't listen to you guys. You never even called me. You never called Stephen unless there was some kind of family emergency. You know? And I always helped them too. I used to help Alice all the time, even on Thanksgiving at her house. I'd be like, what can I do to help you, Alice? And I would be like, all right, well, I'll go in the kitchen and start cleaning and doing dishes because I always did the dishes at family gatherings because I was like, great, I gotta be around the family. So I thought I would make myself useful. And it was thanks for having me over. Now what can I do to help you? And that's what I did, you know. I know, right? I see. I've already given up so much. I don't know what more the rest of me wants from you, Stephen. I could be like a really horrible person and just command things, and I won't do that. You know why? It's because I actually care about like individual rights. And I care about working as a team. I always have. You know, I went to the University of Phoenix because I was a well, because I was such a loner at one time, and I was so into my inner self that I went to University of Phoenix to force myself to work in teams. And then I got stuck doing all the work, a lot of the work. Because I was like, and then I would be like, I am not turning in bad work. You know, I'm not. Then I quit because they would never let me, you know, finish the degree I wanted, which I was only one class short of. Now it doesn't matter because the State Board of Nursing is taking my license, which I'm glad. I said one day those nurses here are gonna have to feel like not the guys, because I think the male nurses are actually they're like they don't get sucked into the other garbage, but those ladies are gonna have to one day like think, hey, let's think about what we're doing, what they're doing. I think some of Well, some people say, well, Stephen, it's really quite simple. I'm so complicated that I just like, just maybe I think I'm doing some good. Maybe I'm not. Maybe Sean's right. And it doesn't matter. But I'm going to say this is that Stephen has done more than Stephen's share of the difficult work. It's funny, I look at some people or some others here and I'm like, I know you. I see something in them that I'm like, I know you. And I know that everybody has an agenda. Let's get Stephen to do this or this or this. And I already know what's in my heart, what I would do. So whatever test or anything, it was over so long ago, I didn't need to do any of this. I guess I'm doing it for others then, who needed to do it for themselves in the first place. Last night I was thinking that Sean and me and the rest of me needs to tell Stephen, you, the truth, or be honest at least, and say what they did. Or at least say, why is Stephen doing this? I sometimes look out the window and I look over at this one window and I'm just like, I know somebody in there. And then I see these fans in the windows. And I'm like, you know, it's kind of a weird, I mean, it's actually a lot stranger looking at it from where I'm looking at this. I can see the reflection of birds flying outside. I think some would say that it's just a reflection, Stephen, and it's an echo from some long since hurts that needed to be fixed, that needed answers to. Since I gave that anger back to where it belonged, I'm wondering, like, what else? I said once, I could search the entire world over and over and still know what's inside this heart of mine. Funny. I'm not gonna put this on. Hang that back up on the wall. Sean said, I can't believe you don't have mirrors. I left all the mirrors that I had. I bought big mirrors. I left them all with people that old lovers. You know. It wasn't that I wasn't afraid to look at a mirror. I did look at the mirror all the time. I just see different things when I look at it now. You know. Don't get any ideas about trying to pull one of them out of me or out of Stephen. He's found his back way to his center. Some might not like that. Right? I know. I don't even need to finish a psychology degree. I told Sean I probably already finished it so long ago. And I don't mind what your guys' idea of psychology is. Because you never knew really what mine meant to me. You know? And I think sometimes they turned it around on me. And then I can turn it around back on them. I don't even have to read. Well, somebody went through my writings, changed a few things. Anyways, I don't know. Anyways, more later.